Hello students, good morning to all. Welcome back to class 12 macroeconomics class. We were discussing chapter number 3, determination of income and employment. So in the previous class we have learned that equilibrium level of income is determined by the interaction of aggregate demand curve and aggregate supply curve. And also shift in equilibrium can be caused by change in aggregate demand, as aggregate supply is assumed to be fixed in the short run. Therefore, changes in equilibrium can be brought about only by changes in the aggregate demand. And also we have learned about the level of full employment. So what do you mean by full employment? Full employment equilibrium is that level of equilibrium or output, that is when all the resources are fully and efficiently employed. So the full employment level of equilibrium means AD is equal to AS when all the resources are fully and efficiently employed. So the most desired level of income for an economy is the state of full employment. Okay. So in simple words, it is that level of output where the planned aggregate demand is exactly equal to the total output produced or supplied. That means the planned aggregate supply at the full employment level of resources. That is known as full employment equilibrium. Then Keynes argued that even if full employment is struck, there is no guarantee that planned aggregate demand will be equal to planned aggregate supply. It may be more or less than planned aggregate supply, leading to the possible situation of excess demand and deficit demand. So let us study them in detail. First of all, let us discuss excess demand. What do you mean by excess demand? It is defined as a situation where planned aggregate expenditure or aggregate demand is greater than required aggregate supply in the economy corresponding to the full employment output. Okay. So it is the excess of aggregate demand or planned aggregate demand than the required aggregate supply in the economy corresponding to the full employment output. So the situation of excess demand is also known as inflationary gap. So it builds inflationary pressure leading to continuous and persistent rise in the general price level, which is known as inflation. So if there is planned excess demand, aggregate demand is greater than the supply, the aggregate supply corresponding to full employment output is known as inflationary situation. So in simple words, any excess of planned aggregate expenditure over the full employment level of expenditure is known as excess demand. So this gap between planned aggregate demand and planned aggregate supply corresponding to the given full employment level is known as inflationary gap. Students, please note that a situation of aggregate demand greater than aggregate supply cannot be called excess demand. At the same time, aggregate demand is greater than aggregate supply corresponding to full employment level is known as excess demand. Then the planned aggregate supply cannot be changed because the resources of economy already employed at full employment level. So if aggregate demand beyond the full employment level, that situation is known as excess demand. So in a situation of excess demand, there will be no impact on real output, real income and employment, as all the available resources are already fully and efficiently employed. So therefore there is no change or there is no scope for any increase in the level of employment any further. Then since no more additional resources are available to put to use, it will not be possible to increase the level of real income. As there is already full employment in the economy, larger aggregate demand expenditure in the economy would result in a rise in general price level, leading to an increase in the nominal income, as any further rise in real output is not possible. So excess demand leads to what? The increase in the general price level. Then what are the causes of excess demand? As we know, in the short run, aggregate supply is stable or fixed under Keynesian economics. And the central role in determining the equilibrium level of income, output and employment is played by whom? The aggregate demand. So in simple words, excess or deficit demand is generally caused by any variation in the four components of aggregate demand. That is, what are the four components of aggregate demand? Consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, government expenditure, and also net export. That is, export minus import. On the other hand, money supply also play a vital role in causing inflation or deflation in the economy. Then the following are the prime cause of excess demand. So first one, increase in consumption. So any increase in consumption demand created by the household may lead to rise in aggregate demand beyond the aggregate supply at full employment level, leading to inflationary gap or excess demand. Then the second cause, increase in investment. So any increase in investment expenditure incurred by households and firms due to any reason may lead to increase in aggregate demand and result in excess demand like situations. Then third one, increase in government expenditure. So if the government increases its consumption or investment expenditure, it may result in higher money supply in the economy, which may create inflationary pressure. Then the fourth one, increase in net export. If the goods and services are demanded extensively abroad, pushing the export relating earnings to the higher side, this may result in greater profit to the exporting firm and greater will be the aggregate demand in such case. Similarly, fall in import by a nation may result in greater money at the disposal of the people in the economy, leading to excess demand. Then the fifth one, lower tax rate. So if the tax structure in the economy is a liberal one, this may end up leaving more money at the disposal of the general public. That means if the tax rate is low, the people will get more income to spend. So this could prove to be inflationary in nature. Then the last one, abnormal situations. So crisis situations like war have often witnessed diversions of resources from production of goods and services to production of military equipment, which may result in fall in the supply of consumer goods and services. So this lesser quantity of available output will not be sufficient to match aggregate demand. That is, there will be excess demand. So the shortage of supply, the shortage of goods and services also leads to excess demand. So these are the causes of excess demand. So we can explain this situation with the help of a diagram. Can you see the diagram on the screen? In the figure, AS is represented by 45-degree line passing through the origin. So this is a 45-degree line, shows the equality of income and aggregate expenditure. So at all point of 45-degree curve represent Y is equal to aggregate expenditure, that is equal to consumption plus saving. So the 45-degree line represent y is equal to aggregate expenditure, that is equal to aggregate supply. Then on y-axis, it represents consumption and investment expenditure, that is aggregate demand. Okay. In this figure, the full employment level of output and income in the economy is OYF. Okay, this is the equilibrium, full employment level of equilibrium. EF is the full employment level of equilibrium. At this point, we have OYF level of income and employment. That means all the resources are fully and efficiently employed till OYF level of output. So the point of EF is the desired level of equilibrium. So here is the desired level of equilibrium where aggregate demand is intersecting aggregate supply at point EF and corresponding to OYF level of income and employment. This is the planned aggregate demand is equal to planned aggregate supply at full employment level of equilibrium. So this is the desired. Okay, whatever quantity is collectively demanded by buyer is exactly equal to the level of output collectively produced by the producer in the economy. So this is the desired level of equilibrium. At this point, the price rise will not be inflationary for the economy. Rather, it will be healthy as it leads to increase in the level of output, income and employment. So this line is the full employment level of aggregate demand, that is consumption plus investment. Then if the planned aggregate demand rises due to rise in consumption expenditure or may due to investment expenditure or may due to both and become AD1. So aggregate demand line, aggregate demand curve shift into AD1 due to increase in consumption expenditure or investment expenditure. So the new aggregate demand curve is AD1. This is the new demand curve. Then the supply curve is still unchanged because all the resources are fully and efficiently employed. Then the producer are not in a position to produce even a single extra unit. Okay, so supply curve is stable. So the new equilibrium point is E1. Then corresponding to the new equilibrium point, income and employment increased from OYF to OY1. So in this diagram, the actual supply or actual output of the economy only at EFYF. This is the supply of goods and services, but at the same time the demand is increased from EFYF to YFUF. Okay, so this is the difference between these 2 points is the inflationary gap. So inflationary gap is equal to UFYF minus EFYF, that is equal to UFEF. So this is the inflationary gap. So thus inflationary gap represents the situation where the actual obtained aggregate demand exceeds the aggregate demand required to maintain full employment level. So this is the required demand to maintain full employment level. Then the actual obtained aggregate demand is exceed this level. So that is the inflationary gap. Okay students, I hope you understood. And it leads to increase in income and employment and also increase in the general price level. Then the next possible situation is deficit demand or deficiency of demand. This is just opposite of excess demand. So what do you mean by deficit demand? Deficiency of demand will occur when the planned aggregate expenditure or planned aggregate demand falls short of the available output in the economy or aggregate supply of the economy corresponding to the full employment level of equilibrium. So this excess of planned aggregate output or planned aggregate supply in relation to relatively lesser demand at full employment level is known as deficit demand or excess supply or otherwise known as deflationary gap. So deficit demand is an excess of available aggregate output or over anticipated aggregate expenditure at full employment level. So here also students please note, aggregate demand less than aggregate supply cannot be called deficit demand if it is corresponding to full employment level is known as deficit demand. That is, aggregate demand is less than aggregate supply corresponding to full employment level is known as deficit demand. Okay. So the situation of deficit demand is also known as deflationary gap, that it builds deflationary pressure leading to a fall in the general price level in the economy. So it is generally observed that when aggregate demand AD is less than aggregate supply AS at full employment condition, the producer are forced to reduce their output as prices and profit are hit adversely. This may result in unemployment of resources and reduced income in the economy, which further reduces the demand for goods and services, pushing the economy into the clutches of deflationary gap or deflation. Okay. So this shortfall in planned aggregate demand, vice versa, the planned aggregate supply at full employment level is known as deflationary gap. So in this situation, the prices of goods and services in the economy may face downward trend leading to a decrease in the profitability of the firm and subsequent reduction in the production due to unplanned inventories lying in godowns. This surplus availability of output will result in a fall in the general price level. In such a situation, the business firm will not be able to sustain with the given level of employment. Hence, there will be unemployment in the economy. Thus, deficit demand is generally deflationary in nature. So, due to this deficit demand, the employment will decrease, income of the economy will decrease, and also there is a decrease in the general price level. So, due to decrease in the general price level, the producer are not willing to produce more goods and services because their profitability also decreases. Then what are the causes of deficit demand? So, just opposite of excess demand. So, here first one, fall in consumption. Any decrease in the consumption demand of the household may lead to a fall in aggregate demand. Then the next one, fall in investment. Any decrease in the investment expenditure incurred by the households and firm may lead to a fall in aggregate demand and result in deficit demand like situation. Then third one, fall in government expenditure. If the government decreases its consumption or investment expenditure, it may result in fall in money supply in the economy, which may create deflationary pressure. Then the fourth one, decrease in net export. If the export of goods and services from an economy is less and import is more, this may result in lesser money at the disposal of the people in the economy, leading to deficit demand. Then the fifth one, budget surplus. If an economy is facing budgetary surplus, it may result in deflationary gap. Then the last one, higher taxes. Apart from the above, if the tax structure in the economy is very high and does not leave money at the disposal of the general public in the economy, this could prove to be deflationary in nature. That means if the tax is high, so the people get low income after paying taxes. So their consumption also decreases. Okay. So we can explain this with the help of a diagram. So in this diagram, 45-degree curve is the aggregate supply curve. Then all the point on 45-degree curve shows Y is equal to income is equal to aggregate expenditure. That is, income is equal to consumption. And also in this diagram, Y-axis represent consumption, investment and saving. Then X-axis represent the income and employment. So in this figure, the first line is known as the full employment level of aggregate demand, and it intersects the aggregate supply at the point E. So at the full employment level of equilibrium, income is OYF. This is the full employment level of income. Then point E is the full employment level of equilibrium, which means that this is the equilibrium level of income and employment for the economy, where the desired aggregate demand is exactly equal to the level of output or level of aggregate supply produced. Okay. So this is the desired level of equilibrium. The point E is the desired level of equilibrium because this is the full employment level of equilibrium. However, a situation may arise where aggregate demand falls short of aggregate supply corresponding to full employment level. In such situation, aggregate demand curve shift from AD to AD1. This dotted line is the new aggregate demand curve. So this is made due to a shortage or fall in consumption expenditure or due to investment expenditure. So here, due to some reason, aggregate demand curve shift from AD to AD1. So the new equilibrium point is E1. That means the income is decreased from OYF to OY1. So here, what is the deflationary gap? Here the deflationary gap or deflation is equal to EYF minus TYF, that is equal to ET. Okay. EYF minus TYF, that is equal to ET. So this is the inflation. ET is the deflationary gap. That means deficit demand. Okay. So in excess demand, demand is increased over equilibrium level of output. Then here demand decreased from equilibrium level of full employment level of equilibrium, and here deflationary gap is ET. This point from this to this is the deflationary gap. Okay students.